Left-Wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
National security encompasses everything from defense spending to cybersecurity to immigration to our approach to foreign relations. Ace, how do Trump and Harris plan to beef up our security and keep us safe?
I think when I think foreign relations, man, when I was looking at this and I was thinking this, I thought NATO, and I was thinking foreign policy and just how we're handling that. We talked a little bit about it as cognitive when it came to talking to leaders, but just dismantling and going after NATO and making us vulnerable there. You know, his first thing dealing with Ukraine, he made us vulnerable. He made Ukraine vulnerable when he was playing with them, and that's the reason Russia walked right in there. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not. So I think, to me, and this is I can't say anything, but my view and vision and opinion is I just think Trump plays when it comes to foreign policy. Like, he's not serious to me. I just don't take it there.
I agree.
Talks tough game, but it's like he's playing and nobody else is playing. I always say that.
It's like, to me, like you said, he's playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, fuck it, I ain't got that long on this earth, no way. So fuck it.
Yeah, or like he's talking tough, but you ain't doing shit about it. Like, you talk tough you talk tough, but we all know all the damn, not one of them, all the damn dictators, you in bed with them and you toy around with them. But to me, end of the day of the story, they ain't playing with you.
No.
They making moves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They do it to manipulate them.
Yeah. And, like they say, they compliment him and tell him how great he is. End of the day in the story, they doing what the hell they want. So foreign policy, him weakening NATO, him playing around with the Taliban in Afghanistan and making us vulnerable there, inviting them over, and then when we're trying to get out of Afghanistan, and that's just horrible. Biden didn't do a good job on that, but he was put in a tough situation, like you said, because he had sat down with the Taliban.
He had already signed a treaty.
And,
it was too late at that point.
And Iran, and it's not, Iran, Obama kind of gave them their money back and kind of made them powerful and all of that back again. But he scares me when it comes to foreign policy, man, just on what he's talking about, because I think he's just out there playing. You know what I'm saying? So
this is what happens when you have somebody who has a lack of understanding. And, he really wreaked havoc on the State Department. And it's just like with everything else. The State Department, they're experts. They're experts at foreign policy. They know how to deal with these situations, okay? There are too many countries in this world for anybody to think they're going to know how to deal with everything. It's just like last week when we were talking about this motherfucker thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
And he knows very little. He's easily manipulated. His foreign policy advisors, his Secretary of State, his Secretary of Defense, all of them, they all say that he's easily manipulated, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So, he has kind of somewhat of an isolationist stance, but that's not the world we live in. He doesn't understand that we signed a treaty with Ukraine when they left the USSR for them to give up their nuclear weapons. We said we would protect them. People don't know that. We signed a treaty, y'all. We signed a treaty saying if they gave up their nuclear weapons after the USSR fell apart, that if somebody invaded them, that we would help. So when you complain why we're doing that, we are doing that because they gave up their nuclear weapons. There are reasons why this shit happens that, look, y'all need to take some history classes because you think that things are one way and they're not, And Trump, he's an ignorant man who doesn't think he's ignorant. He's easily manipulated, and he's going to do what will make him more powerful. The Russians lend him money. The Chinese freaking gave his daughter all sorts of patents and stuff like that. Jared Kushner made $2 billion right after they left the White House. $2 billion. And I'm not like talking, oh, well, he made it a year later. He made it a couple of months after he left the White House from the Saudi government. That is corrupt. The shit that they did 4 years, any other administration, all of them would have been up under the jail.
Yeah.
So for us to even look at taking him back, to me, is ridiculous.
And I think that, when you foreign policy, that's kind of shit that sneaks up on you and affects your whole life. And now people understand, like, yeah, when this shit going on overseas, you think it don't mean nothing? No, it means something. Because if something goes down over there, and we get pulled into a war, or we get pulled into, like you said, have to honor a treaty, that affects us all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why when I look at his record and what he's done and how he talks, it's baffling to me, like I said, because a lot of us aren't students of history, and obviously he isn't. But we're messing around and playing with fire when it comes to foreign policy and what he's dealing with. Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, we're talking about him. On the other hand, I think that's Biden's strength was foreign policy, and Kamala Harris is part of that. And you can even see now, especially when they started dealing with Iran and Israel and all of that over there, and she started taking the lead on a lot of that. You can see some of her stances, and you can see her at work on some of the foreign policies she's doing and handling some tough situations. I can only imagine if Trump was in that situation, how that's going to be handled, or if it's going to be ignored, which is even worse.
Yeah, and I will say this, that this has me concerned, personally, because there's a lot in national security. There's cybersecurity. He's already letting other countries manipulate ads and propaganda and shit against us using technology to do that. I don't think he has a grip on like the importance of what cybersecurity, I guess, steps we need to take in order to protect ourselves from these other countries. He just, once again, treats it like it's a fucking game. You know what I'm saying? They let shit happen on X that he knows shouldn't be on there. Fuck it, this, that, and the other. Then there's also the immigration issue, letting the wrong people in. Just because they from a country that you like or whatever, you're gonna let them in, and they might be here to do damage to us. And then, after all of these things, that the thing that concerns me the most is that y'all remember when he was president, and there was always somebody that he was arguing with from his own administration. Whether it was like somebody from the FBI, he was calling the generals pieces of shit, or it was somebody from the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney General. It was always somebody who he's arguing with and don't agree with, and says that they're stupid or whatever. These are Americans who work for the betterment of our country, and you're talking shit about all of them. Well, guess what? What picture does that paint to our adversaries? What picture does that paint to people who are coming to do us harm? They're like, oh, they're disjointed. They're not together. They're not unified. We're going to attack now. Like you said, now's the time to go into Ukraine. Now's the time for North Korea to maybe attack South Korea. You know what I'm saying? Now's the time for, whatever. Like this gives people the confidence, or countries the confidence, to act in ways that are detrimental to us, because when he's in office, he has a bunch of people in there, and he's going to have all his yes people. That's also a problem if he has all his yes people, because then there's nobody challenging him, and he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants and making bad fucking decisions, because like we said last week, the motherfucker's crazy. Or you making it look like, we're not unified because somebody says something you don't agree with, and then you attack them. That's a problem.
I don't know if you've seen this documentary they have from Russia with Liev. It's a documentary that I think it's on HBO Max. And this is a cat that was working for Trump and down with Trump and really with Giuliani, and was when he got caught up in all that Russia stuff. And he's telling his story. And I mean, he's got the receipts on everything. It's a lot of backroom play like that was going on in his administration that it's come to light. It's out there, but nobody's paying attention to it. I recommend you look at it. And he runs down how corrupt it was, and like how Trump was sending him over there to get in contact with a lot of these Russian politicians and
try to get
mobsters and all types of stuff. I mean, that's what was going on.
That's
you
what
don't
happened.
you don't think that's coming back to play if it ain't there already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, a lot, like you said, a lot of corruption that we probably ain't gonna hear and see. Hopefully we see in our lifetime, but probably 20 years before all that stuff comes out, we're able to see what was actually going on in this presidency. And that's what we're inviting back when you're talking about foreign policy. Somebody who's willing to get in bed not only with dictators, but with like high stake corrupt politicians and mobsters. And he was in bed with them. And this guy, like I said, this guy has everything on it, man. And it was pretty interesting when I looked at that documentary. So
Yeah. And one thing I do want to do is this, because I realize, like, listening to us talk, we've mostly talked about what was wrong with Trump. With Harris, you are getting someone who studies. You're getting someone who is knowledgeable about different things. Look, her and again, look, America's a melting pot. She has a Jamaican family, so she understands the Caribbean. She has an Indian mother. She understands things that the average American probably wouldn't understand from a first-hand perspective. Okay? She is someone who has already been vice president. She is a no-nonsense person. She laughs and she's, giggles and shit. But if you ever, look, you need to go back and watch her grill somebody. Watch how she grilled Brett Kavanaugh. If you think that she plays. She doesn't play.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody who's going to be negotiating, that's the type of person you want. You want somebody who is going to be knowledgeable, who's going to be firm, who's not going to be easily manipulated, who is even-tempered. Because a leader of a country, that's the thing. You need to have somebody who thinks evenly.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris thinks evenly. She's going to think things out. She's going to have people in place. I don't even think when it comes to foreign policy and that type of thing, it's even close. Like I said with the healthcare, I was like, oh well, Trump did, I could see, but I can't see anything in foreign policy where you would think that he would be better, because to me, that's really where he was for the take. Like I said, his family made way too much money, and he was, too buddy with Putin and stuff like that. That is just, you can't have a president be like that.
yeah, and I'm tired of America, especially when it comes to like women in power. Why are we overlooking the qualifications? We did it with Hillary. Hillary was a damn Secretary of State, and we find other reasons not to put the qualified person in office.
Yeah. The irony with Hillary Clinton is this.
Yeah.
Before she started running for president, all those Republicans who dogged her and talked shit about her, they all said she was always the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Always the smartest person in the room. But the minute she started running for president, she turned into the enemy. And we need to stop letting ignorant folk run for president.
Yeah.
We do. We need to have intelligent leadership. And look, I would love to have an intelligent Republican run for president, even if I disagree with them, okay? But we get Bush when we get fucking Sarah Palin. We get Donald Trump. How many times did McCain have to run before he got the nomination?
Yeah.
And he ran against dumbasses.
Yeah.
And he slid through because they like, oh, his old ass there ran so many times. We're going to let him get this nomination. But you have to have some type of knowledge. You have to have some type of understanding of foreign policy. You have to have some ability to negotiate.
Yeah.
And the candidates that we're getting that are Republican, they don't do those things.
We're not putting our best foot forward, and that's why I sit up here and I even look at the candidates we got right now. When you compare them, like, come on, man, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we want the most qualified person in the room to represent us? And it's just we have it's like we have an underlying cult out of that is just on bullshit and just is okay with putting the worst person out there because of some bullshit reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
They
not
could have
like I
picked
say, it's
Nikki
not-
Haley. They
yeah,
could have put
it's-
Will Hurd. There were other people who were knowledgeable, though, bro.
Exactly. But we and now we're having a conversation with not only a person who ain't really qualified, but a person who we've seen and done devious shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what
This
I'm saying?
is beyond qualification. It's corrupted
And like I said, the
unqualified.
receipts are out there, man. Like I said, it's just crazy. And where we're putting our, and it's scary because we're putting ourselves in this position when it comes to foreign policy. And oh man, he didn't have any wars when he was in, or whatever the case may be. But you know, a lot of shit was caused because of what he did. You know what I'm saying? So
Shit was caused
At the
because
end
of
of
what
the-
he did, and we were still in Afghanistan. We were still in Afghanistan.
But at the
all
end of
4
the
years.
day, man, national security, I mean, is something that's vital importance. I mean, we can't downplay it, treat it like it's bullshit, because, you know, we were always like the big dog, you know what I'm saying, on the block, the bully on the block. And shit's changing, man. We don't got the biggest Navy no more. I think we still got the biggest, like, Air Force or whatever, you know, as far as planes are concerned. But there's other shit out there. We're not the best at cybersecurity. Motherfuckers is hacking shit all the time,
Yeah.
doing all kind of crazy shit. Like you said before, during
We
the
eating it up.
industrial age, we were the innovators. Now we in the technology age. We might have started off as but not no more. I mean, we behind the 8 ball. We need to catch up, and we need to have somebody in office who has our national security, you know, as an important priority for them during their administration.